So within the daily schedule should include rewards such as video games and tablets, electronics, and things like that. All right. So what this will do will limit the electronic usage and give them a goal to achieve. So once again, if you have the daily schedule, include rewards within the daily schedule, and they can't get to their rewards unless they go through their routine properly. And the more they get trained on that, the more they'll be working towards some of those really fun things that they want to do. And this will help behavior because it'll teach them how to reach a goal. It'll teach them that they have to be responsible with their behavior and the activities that they have on their schedule. So, whatever parameter you set, whatever expectation you have as a parent, then they have to meet those expectations or be working toward those expectations. And this will determine how much time they will have on some of the really fun things that they want to do, such as being on electronics. So, parents, throughout the daily schedule, you most likely are going to see some behavioral problems come up. Okay. And this is okay. You're going to see behavioral issues. You're going to see kids have moments of breaking down, maybe crying, maybe frustration, arguing, things like that. This is okay. All right. Because you are in position to be able to help them get through these possible behaviors that you may see. Okay. So, what we want to focus on is the 5 areas of behaviors that you may see. And you may see more, but we're just going to focus on 5 because the majority of the behaviors that you're going to see are going to do with how they interact with one another. It's going to be how they socially interact at some point throughout the day and throughout this schedule. That's why it's so important to have the schedule because at least the interaction will be placed in a way where they know what to expect. They're not just running around the house doing stuff, getting in trouble, or making you frustrated, right? So, what are these social skills that I'm talking about that's going to help you prevent behaviors? All right, so first of all, let's identify the behaviors. All right, so the 5 behaviors that we're going to take a look at and work on is number 1, disrespectful words toward one another. Okay. And this is your name calling, stupid, ugly, fat, whatever type of word that kids will use toward each other to be disrespectful. We want to be in a place as a parent to give them a teachable moment and to redirect those type of words because through those words can create the frustration that can create more behaviors. All right. Number 2, teamwork. Because some of these elements, even throughout the course of the day, the family games, the projects, whatever it may be, they're going to have to be able to work as a team. Even playing together, having free play, they're going to have to be able to free play and to work as a team, even during play without getting frustrated and fighting with one another. So teamwork is very important to teach them. Number 3, quitting. Most kids, when they get upset or when they aren't winning in a game, they'll quit. They'll quit with a poor attitude. They want to walk away. They want to go into a shell, and they don't, especially a lot of antisocial kids who show antisocial behaviors that don't really like to be around a lot of people. They'll quit. And so we want to help them not quit in the midst of something that they're doing just because it gets hard or just because the social interaction does not fit them. Okay. And then number 4, appropriated play. All right. What I mean by appropriate play is because your kids are going to be cooped up, they're going to be in the house a lot. Kids are going to get creative, and some of their creativity may not be conducive to your house. For example, they may throw things in the house. They may name call as a form of play. They may run through the house and maybe have a tendency to maybe run into things and break things. Um, how to play appropriately in the house with one another. They may fight, right? A lot of the boys, if you have a lot of boys, they like to get very physical and wrestle and they want to fight, they want to box, they want to do all these things. Well, now you're at home with them for a much longer time. Now you're gonna have to teach them how to be appropriate during their playtime so that no one gets hurt and that no one is frustrated and very mad at one another. All right. And lastly, number 5 is a bad attitude after being redirected. Okay. So throughout the course of your day and your daily schedule, you're going to be redirecting your kids. You're going to be telling them what to do, what not to do. You're going to be telling them to stop doing things and letting them do certain things. All right. Sometimes, if the kid doesn't get their way, if your child doesn't get their way, they normally that can follow with an attitude, a bad attitude as well. So we want to work on our kids' attitude after being redirected. Okay. Now, the beauty of this is after you give a direction or you give a directive, and soon as you see your child comply to that directive, then you want to give them a lot of verbal praise. You can even do something like have a glass and you can put certain things in the glass and almost like a treasure chest that you've created. And within that treasure chest, when they do something well, you can place it into their glass or their cup. And the more items they have in the cup, you can put whatever you want inside that cup, pennies, um, beans, any little thing inside of a cup. And the more that they have, they can pull from and maybe get extended game time. They can get extended play. They can maybe have a later bedtime, little things like that, that they can look forward to as a reward based on them complying. But as they comply, you must give a lot of verbal praise. Good job, Johnny. That's amazing. You did wonderful. Thank you for following my direction. All right. So the first behavior that we want to work on is disrespectful words toward one another. Okay, parents, when your child decides to use disrespectful words, whether back toward you or toward a sibling or somebody in the house, at that time, you're in position to give a teachable moment. All right. Now, that teachable moment will include reminding them of what they said and making them understand the problem with what they're saying. So you can use certain things such as, do you understand how that can hurt your sister? Do you understand how this can hurt and why it can hurt them and how this can scar them for life because you're calling them this particular name? And then what you have to be, parents, you have to be very firm and very solid on the reasoning why you will not tolerate certain disrespectful words toward one another. Now, during this teachable moment, you're expressing to your child the hurt that it can cause from negative words toward one another. You can say things like, well, you wouldn't want me using these words toward you. You wouldn't want somebody to be disrespectful toward me. And what if somebody told me that same word? What if somebody randomly gave me this type of disrespect in words and disrespected me? So you can paint the picture so that they can see the seriousness and the problem that can be created for being disrespectful with words. All right. So just get creative, figure out new ways to express to them. You know your child, you know how they can understand what's right and wrong about being disrespectful. But once again, if they are disrespectful, they have to be reminded, and you can teach them that skill of using appropriate words. Now, remember, you have to replace the disrespectful words with appropriate words for them. Help them see it. All right. Number 2, teamwork. Okay. Throughout the day, your children are going to be doing something as a team. Even with you, if you're a single parent and you have a single child, even with you, if you decide to do something with them, they have to learn how to work as a team. And so you can do little things to create team environments in them. So, for example, if you do have siblings or if you're playing tag and this team is going against this team, they have to learn how to work together. If you're doing a project, you have to work on it. You have to work as a team to complete a project. Well, you're teaching them teamwork skills throughout that project. So you can give them a reminders, hey, we're going to get this done. Hey, do you have any ideas on how to complete this? Or how do you think we should navigate or operate moving forward with this part of the project? So now you're getting their input, you're talking to them, you're allowing them to express how they feel about what you're going to do within the team concept. So you can just spend some time working as a team. And if they start being a poor sport or not wanting to work as a team, then you can now use that as the teachable moment to redirect them. All right. Number 3, quitting. Now, we talked about throughout the schedule, there's going to be family games, there's going to be individual games, there's going to be siblings playing with siblings and things like that. And a lot of times when kids don't feel like they're winning or they're doing something well within that activity with somebody else, they will start to quit. Well, once again, parent, you are the facilitator, you are the parent teacher. That is a great time for you to use that as a teachable moment and to encourage your kids not to quit. And some you can give them some positive reinforcement and help them understand that they can go a little further, even though it's hard, they can keep pushing and pressing through. You can encourage them through words. And when they hear you and they know that you're sincere on their ability to get through something that they want to quit, the more that they're hearing that from you and being encouraged from you, the more likely they will try to stay in there and press through the difficult times. All right. Now, number 4, appropriated play. Remember, appropriate play. Now, as your kids are running through the house, playing games, doing these types of things, playing with each other, the wrestling, once again, as the facilitator, as the parent teacher, you're going to have to give them a clear idea of what's appropriate in your home. If they don't know what boundaries they have in your home, then they're going to create their own boundaries. You have to create the boundaries. You have to be the one to say, okay, these are the lines you cannot cross. These are the things that you cannot do in the midst of my home, in the midst of our home while you're playing. Once you sit them down and line this up and let them see the actual boundary lines that you create, then they'll know when they cross it, they'll pretty much self-govern themselves. But they have to see the boundary lines. And so whatever's inappropriate, whatever type of play is inappropriate in your home, then let them know. If they don't know, then they're not going to even see a boundary line. They're going to cross that line as soon as they begin to play. All right. And lastly, number 5, a bad attitude after you redirect them. Okay. As we know, there's going to be a lot of times when you're going to say, you need to stop this. You need to go do something else, or the game is over, or I need you to take out the trash, or I need you to complete something on your agenda, or I need you XYZ. And you're going to redirect that. And a lot of times, since they're not used to this, they're going to get a bad attitude. They're going to maybe get a bad attitude based on you telling them to stop playing a certain way, whatever it may be. All right. But after you redirect them and they get a bad attitude, then that's a great time to call them, sit them right down in front of you, have a conversation with them and make them understand, respectfully make them understand that you are giving a redirection for the benefit of them. Now, I know that you're the parent and sometimes it's my way and you don't have to question my way. However, when kids have understanding and they know why you're redirecting them not to do certain things, they have a better tendency to comply to that and understand it if they have an understanding. It's only when they don't have an understanding do they really struggle with directions and being redirected to stop doing things. So give them an explanation, make it very clear to them the reasoning, and then also give them verbal praise. Give them verbal praise when they comply to your redirection. So if you put all these to place, your kids will at least have kind of a compass to go through the day. And I hope you practice all of these techniques. And remember, you can chime in, you can email, or you can write us on the website. And if you have any questions about what to do, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you. This is Mr. Mix at Desert Trails. Have a great day.